Hello everyone, and welcome back to Shadowverse on the Silent K channel. I know I skipped last week, and I'll be recording some more gameplay right after this and uploading it ASAP. But right now we're going to talk about new cards. That's right, a new expansion has been announced, Darkness Evolved, coming in late September. And right now they've revealed a few cards, and more will be added later. So I figured I would do some card reviews. First up we have Archangel Olivia. A 9 mana 4/4 and 9 mana 6/6 evolved. Fanfare, increase your evolution points to 3. So this is obviously going to be a card for a control deck, but you're going to lose a lot of tempo by dropping a 4/4 on 9 mana. So you can expect you're going to be evolving it right away, so really it's going to be a 6/6 that gives you 2 evolution points. But even a 6/6 isn't very good on 9 mana, so I don't see it really being a very strong card. This game has a lot of ways to abruptly end the game quickly around 9 mana, so stacking up those 2 evolution points and hoping to be able to use them in the next couple turns seems very slow. It might work in like Dragoncraft or Havencraft, one of the slower classes, but I think overall the verdict is too slow. Next up we have Ceridwen for Shadowcraft, 5 mana 5/4. Or 5 mana 5/4 evolved. But when you evolve it, you randomly summon one of your highest cost followers that's been destroyed this match. So this is like a really powerful effect. At 5 mana, that's right in the middle of the evolve wars when you're trading back and forth aggressively. So you really want cards with good evolves around those mana points, and this is a really good one. If you play it on 5, you're likely to get your 4-drop back from the last turn, so this is going to be a huge stat gain. Usually a evolve is worth +2/+2. If you evolve and get a 4-drop back, then a 4-drop usually has like 7 stats worth, which is a lot more than 4 stats. But if you evolve this even later in the game, like turn 7, or even later if you manage to save an evolve point, you're going to get a lot of value out of it. The go-to 5 slot for Shadowcraft is Cerberus. I actually think this might be even better than Cerberus, but you could manage to run both. Cerberus' effect is a fanfare, so you don't really have to evolve on turn 5. This is a much stronger evolve card for turn 5. So the verdict for this one is very flexible and potentially very powerful. It will probably put in every Swordcraft deck. Next up, Crystallia Tia. She is a 5 mana 1/1, evolves into a 5 mana 3/3, so she damn well better have a good effect. And that is to summon Crystallia Eve and give it ward and evolve it if at least 2 other cards were played this turn. Crystallia Eve is a 4 mana 4/4. If you manage to evolve her via Crystallia Tia, then that makes her a 6/6 with ward. If you evolve her without Tia's proc, then she's only going to be a regular 6/6, no ward. So if you play her just as is, you're guaranteed to get 5/5 worth of stats over 2 bodies, which isn't bad. But in order to proc her, you're probably going to be playing like 1 mana fairies or something like that, which puts her up to a 7 cost, which still isn't bad. You get the 1/1, and you get the, if you put any minions on the board with your 2 cards, you'll get those minions on the board, plus you'll get a 6/6 ward with minion charge. So it's not bad, but it's hard to say if it's going to really be good in combo forests. Just because you have the 5-drop, which is right in the middle of the evolve war. You can evolve one of them. It's sort of like Warbound Cavalier with less stats, but you can't really get the full effect. And if you play it on turn 7, then you could usually drop better stuff on turn 7. So it's kind of hard to evaluate. It's definitely not a bad card, but it's hard to tell if it's going to actually be able to fit in a Forestcraft combo deck. So the verdict for this one is going to have to be wait and see. It has some potential, but it's kind of hard to evaluate it right now. Next up, Archangel Arena. 8 mana 5/5, and the evolve form is 8 mana 5/5. So again, it better have a very good evolve. She doesn't have any general effect. She does have an evolve all allied followers. Evolve abilities will not activate for those followers. So for Arena, you need to be on turn 8 or later, and you still have to have an evolve point, and you have to have unevolved minions on the board. That's 3 conditions that don't really go well together. if baseline is about like 8/8 for 8, then you need at least 2 unevolved minions on the board and an evolution point in order to just get basic value out of her. Although the minions that get evolved won't have summoning sickness, so they can't evolve face for burst damage. But there's still a lot of conditions for an 8-cost card. I don't see it seeing any play. Like, if this were a fanfare, it would be a win more card. You might see it in flood decks, like Swordcraft, maybe. But as an evolve effect, there's no way. It just goes from a win more card down to unplayable. I don't see this one seeing any play, even though a lot of people in the community are already saying it's a very strong card. I just don't see it. You will not have an evolve point and multiple unevolved minions on the board at the same time when you play this. So verdict is unplayable. And last up for now we have Rime Wind. A spell for Runecraft, costs 5 mana. Return an enemy follower with 1 defense or less to the opponent's hand, and summon 1 snowman. Spell boost, followers with 1 more defense can be returned, and summon 1 more snowman. So seeing as it's a 5 mana removal card, it's going to be a big minion removal, sort of like Execute and all those sorts of cards. I think it's a very fair card. Unfortunately, Runecraft has a lot of unfair cards with spell boost. I mean, you can Fire Chain and wipe the entire board. You can Wind Blast for like 15 damage and remove things for less mana. It tries to stick 2 things together, like Wind Blast plus Summon Snow. It might work. I'm not saying it's a bad card. It's just, I don't think it's good enough compared to what tools Runecraft already has. So the verdict is, as a fair card, I think it's already outclassed by currently available cards. Too fair for its own good. And that's all we have time for today. There's a link in the description to the featured cards that have been revealed so far. And I'll be doing these videos as batches of cards come out. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Tune in again next time and have a good night.